One of the things that's evolving in real time is the emphasis on concrete, practical, and specific actions regarding diversity and inclusion.
The fact that you can bring people in is one step, but can you include them such that they develop into these careers that are long-term financially and professionally rewarding? I think that's a critical component of D&I as well.
D&I policies at different corporations need to be part of their DNA on a regular basis and not simply forward-looking plans of what you intend to do.
We have a massive social justice movement in America taking place, and all of these folks that are protesting, that are demanding social justice across America are customers of companies.
And I think what you've seen from an evolution perspective is that since the global financial crisis, the level of engagement at the board level has never been higher.
It's very important to have in that room voices of diversity across all categories of diversity. And so it adds to the intellectual vitality of a discussion and frankly leads to better outcomes.
Risk management, reputation management, innovation, and really connecting with customers. I think as you think about those four critical pillars, you start thinking backwards about what type of board you need to execute that.
It's just natural that you expand the candidate pool by considering a broader segment of the population that more accurately reflects the society that we all live in.
We're making progress, but I think we all understand that we need to do much better.
The success of a merger is often driven by social and governance issues, and companies coming together and having agreement not only on the financial terms of a transaction, but on the social issues. And therefore, issues like diversity and inclusion and diversity on boards and making sure that you've got that on a pro forma basis have become more important than ever for success.
Precisely because these developments are unfolding rapidly, there's a heightened risk of a disconnect between different companies that might be considering working together around issues associated with ESG and diversity and inclusion.
And I think the progression that we've seen from the focus on what's best for shareholders to what's best for stakeholders and the broader constituency on transactions has been accelerated a bit, especially in 2020 as you've seen the protests over racial inequities. There's been a greater focus by companies on their ESG issues. And as a result, it's been reflected in the transactions that they're pursuing.
And I think that there's a larger component of this that will be driven by regulations. And so when you think about mergers and acquisitions in that context, you're going to look at it through a very different lens because the target that you're going after has to meet certain requirements. And I think that's going to drive some diligence around that topic as well.
So it's fine to look at numbers on a page when you're analyzing a merger, but the probability of success is going to be driven by a successful cultural combination. And that requires companies to be able to see eye to eye on these types of critical, important priority issues.
The focus has helped us on all fronts of our business, whether it's recruitment, but also more importantly from a retention perspective. I think our existing employees value the fact that this is such a priority for us.
I co-chair the firm's Diversity Leadership Council in the US, and we spend a lot of time thinking about this, about what it means to be diverse, not just from a diversity perspective, but more important, inclusion. When you bring people in, it's become a huge recruiting issue for most firms.
At RBC, our Diversity Leadership Council regularly meets with all group heads.
That's where you have these proprietary programs that we do at RBC, and so we'll have presentations where business leaders come to the Diversity Leadership Council, present their business plan, and then we measure that over time to see how it changes and whether they've met their goals or not, and ultimately that's factored into compensation, right, which is the holy grail.
Success in D&I may seem like it's non-economic, but it actually leads to better economic outcomes. It's important to RBC's clients, and it's important to us at our institution.
What we're finding at RBC is that D&I needs to be something that starts at the top of the organization. And what we're seeing is that when you have senior leaders talking about D&I initiatives, it encourages others to participate as well and recognize that, again, this is a must-have for all organizations.